Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. Chicago, November. The icy wind whipped through the deserted alleyways, slamming doors and sending dead leaves rattling across the asphalt. Marcus Johnson, 28, a young black deliveryman with sharp eyes and calloused hands, crossed a quiet alley to deliver an urgent package. Suddenly, he saw movement. An old man, with gray hair and a wrinkled face, lay on the sidewalk, unable to get up. The man was panting, his short breaths mingling with the cold wind. Marcus immediately recognized the danger. Without help, the old man could become ill or worse. Without hesitation, Marcus rushed over. "Sir, are you all right?" he cried, dropping to his knees. The man tried to speak but could only whisper his name, Harold Thompson. Marcus carefully lifted him, feeling every shiver run through the old man's frail body. He carried him to the shelter of a porch and took out his phone to call an ambulance. While Marcus waited, Harold looked at him with a mixture of fear and gratitude. "Thank you, young man," he murmured weakly. Marcus smiled, trying to hide his concern. He had no idea that this simple, noble act would trigger a reaction he could never have imagined. The next day, as he was returning home after a long day at work, Marcus noticed a massive, silent black SUV parked in front of his building. The tinted windows obscured the interior. A chill ran down his spine. He sensed that this vehicle wasn't there by chance. His heart pounding, Marcus realized that his selfless act yesterday had attracted the attention of forces he didn't yet understand. Something, or someone, wanted to speak to him, or warn him. And what he was about to discover in the hours that followed would change his life forever. Marcus Johnson had never felt such tension. The black SUV was still there, motionless in front of his building, like a patient predator. He peered through the curtains, trying to make out who was inside. 3 men in dark suits, sunglasses, and impassive faces got out of the vehicle. Each of them looked perfectly trained, almost mechanical in their movements. Before Marcus could even think, one of the men knocked on his door. Marcus's hand trembled slightly as he opened it. "Marcus Johnson?" the man asked in a cold, emotionless voice. "Yes." "Who are you?" replied Marcus, his heart pounding. The man didn't answer immediately. He took a step forward and pulled out a small badge, which he showed briefly. Marcus, unable to read the letters clearly, felt his stomach clench. "You helped Harold Thompson yesterday," the man said in a monotone voice. "We need some information." Marcus blinked in disbelief. "Harold? But, he's just an old man who fell." I just helped him." The man remained impassive. "You don't know what you've done, and you're unaware of the danger you're in. But now you're involved." A chill ran through Marcus. What had begun as a simple act of kindness seemed to be turning into a nightmare. He felt his life had just been turned upside down, and that every decision he made now could be crucial. As the 3 men calmly awaited an answer, Marcus realized he had no choice. He had to follow them. But where? And why? The mystery surrounding Harold Thompson deepened, and Marcus sensed that what he was about to discover would surpass anything he had ever imagined. The black SUV started slowly, silent as a shadow gliding over the asphalt. Marcus, sitting in the back, felt his heart pounding. The 3 men in suits didn't speak, their faces impassive, as if they were assessing his every move. The silence inside the vehicle was oppressive, almost suffocating. After several minutes of travel, the man who appeared to be the leader finally broke the silence. "Harold Thompson, you know nothing about him, but he's been under our protection for decades," he said calmly. "You unknowingly put him in danger yesterday by intervening." Marcus frowned in disbelief. "I don't understand. He's just an old man. Why would anyone want to protect him like that?" The man looked him straight in the eyes. "Harold has witnessed things that many would prefer to keep secret. He knows names, facts, events that some would rather see disappear. Your intervention has attracted the attention of powerful forces." Marcus's heart sank. He realized that his act of kindness had triggered something far greater than a simple rescue. He felt the gravity of the situation. He was no longer just a deliverman, but an unwitting witness in a dangerous game. "You must understand," the man continued, "that certain people are watching you now. They know you've been in contact with Harold. They know you might speak, or act." Marcus felt a cold sweat trickle down his back. He thought of Harold, alone and vulnerable. The old man had never asked to be at the center of this mystery. And now, Marcus was involved, whether he liked it or not. As the SUV came to a stop in front of an unassuming building, Marcus realized there was no turning back. He had to uncover the truth about Harold and understand why his life had just been turned upside down, all while remaining aware that his every move could be watched. The SUV doors opened, and Marcus descended into a world of secrets, mysteries, and unseen dangers. A world where a simple act of kindness could become a double-edged sword. From that day on, Marcus felt something was wrong. Everywhere he went, he felt like he was being watched. The black SUV seemed to appear out of nowhere at every turn, sometimes behind him, sometimes parked some distance away, silent as a shadow. Every time he caught a lingering gaze, his heart raced. One night, as he returned home after a long day of deliveries, Marcus found a small package slipped under his door. He carefully opened it and discovered a photograph of Harold Thompson sitting on a bench, with a handwritten note. "You have been seen. Do not speak to anyone." Breathless, Marcus realized that the men in the SUV weren't there to directly threaten him, but to watch him, to control his every move. He felt trapped, unable to know who to trust. In the following days, the anonymous calls and cryptic messages multiplied. One evening, as he looked around from his apartment, Marcus saw the SUV parked a little further away, motionless. It wasn't moving, but he knew it was there, that they were watching him. Yet, despite his fear, Marcus couldn't ignore Harold. The old man needed protection, and he wasn't going to give up. Every clue, every silent threat, fueled his resolve. He had to understand what Harold knew, why his life and the life of the man he had helped were now in danger. Marcus then began taking notes, recording events, observing every movement around him. He knew that the slightest misstep could be fatal, but he also felt that remaining passive was not an option. The mystery of Harold Thompson was only just beginning, and the truth, Marcus knew, would be far more dangerous than he could have imagined. The black SUV, silent and menacing, had become a symbol of the invisible danger that hung over him. And for the first time, Marcus understood that what he thought was a simple act of kindness had plunged him into a world he had never wanted to know, but from which he could never escape. Night was falling on Chicago, and Marcus Johnson had been awake for hours. The black SUV was never far away, sometimes parked a few blocks from his building, sometimes spotted in his rear-view mirror. Every move he made seemed scrutinized, every breath monitored. The fear was constant, but something inside him refused to give in. He thought back to Harold Thompson, the frail, lonely old man he had helped a few days earlier. Marcus knew that Harold couldn't defend himself against the forces lurking around him. And the more he thought about it, the more he realized that staying hidden wouldn't protect anyone. On the contrary, inaction could cost them both dearly. The next morning, Marcus made a decision. He took out his phone and began recording a video detailing everything he knew: Harold's fall, the black SUV's intervention, the mysterious men, the cryptic calls and messages. Then he sent a copy to his journalist friend, David Parker, a trusted person who could expose the truth if anything happened to him. His heart pounding, Marcus finally stepped out of his building, ready to face the situation. The black SUV was there, as if it had been waiting for him. The men inside stared at him through the tinted windows. But for the first time, Marcus didn't feel fear. He felt a burning determination within him, a strength born from the conviction that he had to act to protect Harold. As he walked towards his destiny, Marcus knew that nothing would ever be the same again. Every step, every decision mattered. He was no longer simply a delivery man who had done a good deed, he had become an unwitting player in a conspiracy that surpassed anything he could have imagined. The black SUV started up behind him, silent but menacing. Marcus, without looking back, continued forward. He knew the truth had to be revealed, whatever the cost. And in this vast, cold city, a young black man had just discovered that courage, sometimes, is born from the simplest of gestures, reaching out to someone in need.